When Audi launched the R8 back in 2006, it was an instant icon, a phenomenon, a legitimate German supercar with brash, adventurous styling. And once the V10 engine option appeared, the R8 had the power to back up those outrageous looks. The result was a car so cool, Tony Stark drove one. Recently, Audi released an all-new version of the R8. Talk about a tough act to follow. But can the new R8 possibly live up to the hype and reputation of the original? That's what we're here to find out. It's got 10 cylinders, 40 valves, 7 gears, 2 clutches, 4 wheels driven, more than 600 horsepower, and no turbocharging, supercharging, or battery assist whatsoever. Good ingredients? It's safe to say Audi's sophomore supercar effort is a fantastic recipe. But before we talk about how the new R8 tastes, we've got to talk about the packaging it comes in. Design. Well, the R8 looks like this because it's mid-engine. That's right, under the glass, you can see the engine, and that means that the transmission, the seats, and the engine, all the heavy stuff, they're between the wheels, so that decreases the odds of this car spinning out. It also increases its uselessness, and the mark of a great supercar is how useless it is. Sadly, this one's got a frunk. Now, you could probably get a duffel bag in there, maybe a purse and a backpack. I've seen worse, a Bugatti Veyron, you couldn't even get the backpack in there, just the purse. I don't think the front of the R8 looks good, especially when compared to the brand-defining beak of the previous car. But the rest of the new shape? Lovely, especially from the rear three-quarters view. And the interior is pretty good too. The problem with the old R8's interior, especially after the refresh, was that it was just dated. Well, luckily, in the new R8, everything's fresh. You've got the cool HVAC controls, you've got Audi's industry-leading virtual cockpit, you've got quilted Alcantara above quilted leather. This is a fabulous place to spend some time. Also, like a lot of modern supercars, all the controls are migrating to the steering wheel. I'm not just talking about the paddles and the volume control and the MMI stuff. I'm talking about things like the start-stop button, the loud exhaust button, Audi's drive select button. But forget about all that stuff, because the single most important button in the entire car is located right here. It's got a little checkered flag on it, and Audi calls it something like the performance button. Now, if Audi had Tesla's lawyers, they could have called it throat stab or groin kick. You need to think of it as the Huracan button, because you push that button, and suddenly, the engine, throttle response, the transmission, they all behave as if you're driving the Lamborghini Huracan. There's a few substantial ways that the R8 V10 Plus is different than the Huracan. Specifically, height, width, and length. And wheelbase too, actually. The Audi's got a 1-inch longer wheelbase, so you can get more stuff behind the rear seats. But weirdly, it's actually an inch shorter than the Lamborghini, because the Lamborghini has crazy Lamborghini-like overhangs. This car's an inch wider, and probably most importantly for a lot of people out there, it's 3 inches taller. So if you're a tall dude who doesn't fit in any car, you might have a better chance of fitting in this than the Lambo. The ride quality of this car is incredible. It has that excellent quality I look for in sports cars, where it's stiff, but when you hit a bump, it doesn't upset the car. It just kind of absorbs it, eats it, lets you know what you're riding over, and then boom, you're done. Back on the throttle. And really, when you're driving the R8, you just want to be on the throttle because this engine is so damn magnificent. 602 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque, V10, but most importantly, no turbochargers, no superchargers, natural aspiration. And in this day and age, not only is that exceedingly rare, it is awesome. I always liked the old R8, but I didn't love it. There was a clinicalness to it, a steeliness. It was sterile. It was too German. This one, they let some Italian blood into it, and it's just a blast. Visceral. Before, if you're gonna spend $180,000 or so, well, sure, the R8 was cool, but you really get the Porsche Turbo. That's the better car. Not the case anymore. Porsche Turbo's a little bit dull. This is a maniac. I love this thing. It's such a great car to attack a back road in. Wow. It's a 7-speed dual clutch. There's no more manual. Lots of people, especially named Jason Camisa, are very sad about that. But here's the thing. This transmission is so good. Porsche's PDK used to be the gold standard. I would say this is tied. This is exactly as good as the PDK, except for maybe some of the programming logic. But if you're pulling the paddles yourself, shifts are just awesome. The only one better, I think the Ferrari's dual clutch. I think that's better, but this is so good. You don't have to worry about it. Like, if you can't afford a Ferrari, slum it with the rest of us and buy an Audi. I'm just so in love with this engine. the sound, the power, and the speed. Exactly how fast? Check this out. We've got about a 1 mile stretch of straight road. Our good friends of the California Highway Patrol have locked it down on either end. We've got a 600 some horsepower supercar. You want to make sure the transmission's in sport, and you want to hit the stability control button once. Then you just bury your left foot and whack the throttle. It's gonna dump the clutch at 4,500 RPMs, and you're off like a shot. God, this thing is quick. Okay, that's 85 miles an hour coming around the corner. We're gonna try and hit the straightaway at 100, not a problem, 103. All right, shifting manually now, 131 miles an hour, 145 miles an hour, 159 miles an hour, 170 miles an hour, 180, 82. Okay, 185, and I'm gonna shut it down at 185 indicated. Let me break this run down for you. From a dead stop to the shutdown area is a distance of 1.2 miles. Most of the run is downhill, and we knew that would help with the speed. Sadly, there's a curve in the road, so instead of constantly accelerating, I had to hold the car steady at about 105 miles an hour to make the corner. We used launch control, figuring that doing so would reliably get the car up to speed most quickly. However, it seems as if launch control only shifts automatically if you keep the steering wheel pointed straight. Turn it, like I had to do, and the transmission reverts to manual. You can see the tach run into the rev limiter at one point. The trip from 110 up to 160 miles an hour happens in a flash. From there, it's a slower climb up to an indicated max of 187. Sadly, the road that we used was only as long as it was, but given enough tarmac, the R8 should keep pulling up to 205 miles an hour, its claimed top speed. So, when you've been doing this job as long as I have, what you realize is, as great as a fast car might be up on a road like this, oftentimes it's a very different story on the racetrack. I gotta say too, from the passenger seat, I obviously get to ride around tracks a lot with you. It's very calm from where I'm sitting. The car just feels, like you said, very planted, very stable. Develops a lot of G's, but not in a spooky way, which I would think would make the car from where you're sitting more controllable, easier to drive quickly, and will ultimately help you put down a better lap time.
It's very controllable, but the understeer is actually downright frustrating.
Oh,
Look.
wow.
The front end, once we get in the corner,
Wow.
the front end is dead.
Wow.
But turning in, it's wide awake. It's fabulous on turn-in, but then it just doesn't take care of the rest of the job once you get in the corner.
Interesting.
Look at that. I'm suspicious they may have just built a lot of safety into this supercar.
Sure.
Too much. Look at the wheel.
At 110 miles an hour, whatever we're going right
A
now.
little bit, sure, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What we have here is a lot.
Do you think it's going to affect your lap time?
Absolutely. I think it takes several seconds out of the lap time. It's that bad.
Wow.